Hey guys, welcome back to rhrjen. I'm so glad you're here. Bonjour, or should I say bonjour? That's right. I'm French today. I wore a t-shirt and I decided to be French. Bonjour. Today I'm wearing, wait for it, Champs-Élysées. Tell me if I said that right. But yeah, I love France so much. I've been to Paris twice, but I haven't seen the other parts of France. So I really want to see that. So today I am French. Bonjour. All right, let's talk. I have such a good show for you today. We are talking the new paranoid delusion that is Harry and Meghan, especially Harry, and his claims of the men in gray suits. Where have we heard this before? Oh, yeah, he tried this in the past. I'm going to talk about that. And there's a new video making its way around of Meghan. Um, what's the word? Putting Harry in his place. So we'll take a look at that as well and talk about so much more. Thank you so much for being here. If you're new here, I'm Jen. Make sure you hit the thumbs up, leave me comments, hit the subscribe. I usually do it the other way. Let me try that again. Hit subscribe, leave me comments, and the thumbs up as all those help. See, it's his t-shirt. It's throwing me off. Usually I'm dressier than this. Somebody said, you never wear t-shirts. So this is me wearing a t-shirt. Bonjour. Anyway, subscribe, thumbs up, leave me comments. All those help YouTube to recommend my videos. And I sincerely appreciate it. Oh, and thank you. I've had so many of you saying you've been able to hype my videos. This is a new thing that YouTube is rolling out. And I've had several of you comment that you've gotten it and you were able to do it. So thank you. If you're able to hype my video, let me know in the comments. That means the world to me. It's something I don't know who has access to it yet or not. I've talked to some of my friends and some of them have had it. And then some of my UK friends, not so much. So it seems to be this test program they're rolling out. And if you get the option and you hit hype, it helps my video, I guess, reach more people. So do it. Thank you. But do let me know in the comments if you do it so I can sincerely thank you for that. Okay, let's take a look at what's up with Harold and fraud. All right, starting with this here, because I see a lot of people talking about this. So this is courtesy of Daily Mail. We won't read the whole thing. I just want to hit some highlights, some lowlights, and tell you what sprung into my mind when I read this. King Charles is perplexed by Prince Harry's claims that men in gray suits are sabotaging his reconciliation with his father. Now, I've been at this a long time. You've probably been at this a long time. But if you're new and you're like, who are the men in gray suits? That's what they call the courtiers. So they're the people running things behind the scenes with the royal family. So let's take a look. I'm just going to read a little bit of this and then I'm going to tell you what I think is going on. So a bruising war of words, easy for me to say, over Prince Harry's recent meeting with King Charles is making it increasingly difficult for the pair to ever reconcile, it was warned tonight. Father and son's 54-minute tea. I love that every time they specify how many minutes this thing was. What other scenario would that be the case? I went and had tea with Dad today. Oh, cool. Did you have fun? Yeah, I did. How many minutes were you there? Like most people, that wouldn't be a thing. It is funny in this case. But you have to do things like that with Hank and Skank because otherwise, yeah, it'll start out with a 54-minute tea, but by the end, Harry's telling everybody he's moved back into the palace. There's just no telling. Okay, so his recent trip to the UK, first time the pair have met for 19 months. Can you believe it's been that long? Has sparked a flurry of briefings from sources apparently close to the Sussexes. This prompted a well-placed royal source to tell the Mail reprovingly tonight, the reality is that senior aides have been working privately to improve what is an important family relationship. Such public pronouncements only serve to make the endeavor more difficult. Buckingham Palace understood to be increasingly bemused and clearly not a little irritated by the latest increasingly wild conspiracy claims. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and address the elephant in the room here because I'm not going to live long enough to read this article. There's only so much I can take of this. So Harry met with his dad and then immediately starts talking to the press. Quite literally, when he walks out, he said something about his dad. It was minor, fine, whatever. But then from there, he made these statements about having to get back. His father's his priority and all that. You know, he's got to make that the priority in the next year. dropping these little breadcrumbs or planting these seeds, however you want to describe it, to try to get himself attention. And then he's surprised when the king and the royal family don't want to meet with him. He can't shut up. He can't just meet with his dad. It's been pointed out that allegedly there would have been ways to meet with the king in secret, but Harry insisted on going through the entry where the press could see him. I'm not shocked. You're not shocked. All part of the plan, in my opinion, for Harry. But it's just ridiculous that now he's claiming sabotage by these men in gray suits. I would like to remind you, this is not the first time Harry has pulled this card. So with this sabotaging his reconciliation with King Charles, it's echoing the complaints he made about the royal establishment when Queen Elizabeth was around. So remember, that's his go-to move, is to point the finger at these so-called men in gray suits. That's what the term that his mother Diana used to describe the palace insiders. But is it really the courtiers, or is it Harry dodging responsibility for his own actions? So again, I go back to the Balmoral Summit. Do you remember? I believe it was even, I've read so many of those books. I think they talk about revenge, probably courtiers. And I think even in Harry's own book, he talked about the men in gray suits. In his book, see, I'm getting them all confused. I think it was in his book, he was basically saying, I got really upset in that book for so many reasons, but in that part, because he basically said that they were, I don't know how to say it, railroading his grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II. And I said at the time, I was like, that is so unfair. He's making it seem like she was inept or incapable of making decisions, and that these, bad, scary men were in her ear and stuff. And I just don't believe that was the case. He wanted to convince everybody of that, so that way he could say, look, see, they're evil. I'm not evil. My grandmother didn't want it like this. It just went down like this because these men were in her ear. Again, it's this weird delusion on his part, and this weird planting of, once again, it just ties back to nothing is ever his fault. He will never change, will never learn, because nothing is ever his fault. It's a pattern of deflection. And again, I go back to delusion. His claim that the palace officials are sabotaging his reconciliation, it mirrors his past accusations and shows, just the big picture is his refusal to take any accountability whatsoever. So I don't know. I just like his statement of, so he put out a statement by his spokesman, and he called his meeting with Charles a formal meeting, which people are now calling categorically false. And they're accusing unnamed sources of trying to sabotage that reconciliation. So again, going back to, what he's doing is trying to tie in with Princess Diana, as always. I'm guessing he and Meghan, this is just my opinion, my theory, he and Meghan has cooked this up to put this out there to, again, undermine King Charles and the whole of the royal family, to make it seem like they're the victims and to invoke Diana's name. It's their favorite thing to do. I don't know. I just feel like Harry and Meghan both have this huge sense of entitlement. This behavior and talking like this just reflects they're spoiled brats. They expect royal privileges without fulfilling any responsibilities once again. So they've stepped back from royal duties. Fine. They're not hostages. They didn't have to stay there. Nobody's mad that they stepped down. It's the way in which they did it. I've been through this a million times. It's the way in which they did it, and the way they keep continuing to do things like this. I think the rest of us can see that it's just completely awful. I actually feel bad for King Charles in this case, because I got to figure King Charles is always going to meet with Harry. He'll always take the meeting. But it doesn't mean what Harry is trying to make us believe it means. And I just, it's got to be painful as the father. At least he meets with him. I think about, Meghan's dad doesn't even get that from them. So I feel for him. I do. But I'm talking about King Charles. But I do wish, I've been over this before. I wish there was ways to get tougher with Harry and Meghan, but I know that's a whole separate conversation. But I'm just saying again, I just find this very strange. I find my perspective on this is just Harry and Meghan once again with their terrible behavior and trying to use this news to get themselves attention. I would, if I'm, again, this is just my opinion. I'm guessing, sure, Harry would like to make nice with dad. I don't believe that Meghan's interested in that. I don't believe Harry ever could. I don't misread me there. I'm just saying, like, it wouldn't shock me if Harry did want to make up with his dad, but he's just so entitled and so out of touch that his idea of making nice with his dad would include things like a formal apology, whereas the rest of the world says, no, you should be apologizing to King Charles and family and all that. We don't have to go back over it, but you see what I'm saying? It's just more evidence that Harry's out of touch, that I feel like Meghan is driving this. I'm not trying to take him out of this responsibility. Harry's just as bad, if not worse. I say that constantly. I don't like to just pile on Meghan. I think they're both bad and they deserve each other. But I think this is pretty darn low even for them. And I do hope that King Charles grows a bit. I hope that he stands up to them and continues to squash this story, which it sounds like is being squashed. I just feel like it's weird. Harry and Meghan just continue to do these things to poke. And then King Charles seems to do things behind the scenes, but he's never overtly just like knock it off. He never publicly says that. I get never complain, never explain. But when you have a situation like this, maybe it's time. I mean, what they're doing isn't working. So maybe it's time to change that up. I don't know. So that's one big thing going on, the men in gray suits and that whole thing. I just get so ill about it because, again, they're invoking Diana and they're trying to show weakness in King Charles. And I got really upset before because he tried to show weakness in Queen Elizabeth II. And feel how you will about, the royal family and King Charles and all that. I would think with Queen Elizabeth II, weakness is not, that was never a thing that I heard discussed in regard to her. She led a life of service. She made that promise. What was her, whether her life was long or short, she dedicated it to service, and she followed through and did exactly that for a very long time. So it just makes me sick. Harry makes me sick. Harry and Meghan both, and the way they do these things and continue to throw accusations like this, it really does. So again, I wish the powers that be could knock him down a peg or two, but I know it's the ongoing struggle. It's his dad, so he probably won't. And I never wish ill on King Charles. Long live the king. But when it is William and Catherine's turn, I hope they take swift and decisive action. That's all I can hope for on that. Okay, enough about those clowns. Let's go on and talk the next thing. So there's a video that's going around with Meghan and Harry, and I just thought you'd like to see it. It's on Daily Mail. I guess they were digging back through old footage and found something kind of funny. So here you go. So Meghan interrupts Harry. How Prince Harry collapses like a souffle as Meghan Markle interrupts him multiple times. So I didn't actually pull. I don't think. Did I pull? Oh, I did. Okay. There's not much to it. So it's a 2023 roundtable. I believe they said this was, New York City. There you go. They have so many funny things. I mean, it's just like ridiculous things that go on when they go to New York City. And they're headed back there for this faux award. So I'm sure it'll be more nonsense when that happens. But they're headed back and it's always a disaster. But this was a trip to New York City where it was a joint conversation and he was trying to answer something. I believe this had to do with, they were visiting Marcy Lab's school to promote education and mental health. again, why? Who is looking to them for any kind of mental health, anything? They are the poster children for the opposite of what you want to do when you have mental health issues. Anyway, so we'll take a look at the clip and see what those two are up to. He tries to answer. You can imagine where I'm going with this. Let's take a look.
Right. It's education, right? It's education. I think all of us can stand behind the value and the importance of education, especially having access to it. But that access to it and what it is can now come in different shapes and forms, and you can still show up in the world in such a strong and valuable way. Even if you don't take the more traditional route, you're still taking a route of education that is going to be additive. That's the piece that's so powerful about the work here.
Okay, in case you missed that, allow me to fill in the word salad, because I typed it out on my phone so I'd have it so I could read it back to you, because I was like, what did she just say? Here we go. It's education. I think all of us can stand behind the value and importance of education, especially having access to it. But access to it and what it is can come in different shapes and forms. And you can still show up in the world and such strong, valuable way. Even if you don't take the more traditional route, you're still taking a route of education, and that's going to be additive. That's the piece that's so powerful about the work here. Unbelievable. Talk about, I'm just looking at trying to make any sense out of it. The lack of clarity. It seems completely meaningless. Vague generalizations. Access to it is the line she said, and what it is can come in different shapes and forms. It's redundant and unclear. What does shapes and forms mean here? Is she referring to types of education, formal, informal, online? She doesn't elaborate. It just leaves the statement unclear. Circular reasoning, she says you can show up in the world in such a strong and valuable way without a traditional route. This sounds inspirational, but doesn't explain how or why. It's like it's one of her platitudes that she's always preaching, and you're just like, what is this word salad nonsense? I understand what each word means individually, but when you slam them together like that, it's nonsense. Buzzword overload, terms like additive, powerful, valuable, they're thrown in with no grounding. It doesn't mean anything. It's a pile up of jargon which completely obscures the point of what she's trying to say. There's no examples. She references the work here, but doesn't clarify what work she's speaking of and what the heck she's talking about. So it's like, to me, just a string of loosely connected buzzwords that don't actually mean anything. So it's funny that she interrupted him. Not that he has much more to say, but it's funny that she interrupted him just again to hear herself talk, to say this nonsense, and to the way she leaves it. You can tell, in my opinion, the way she's handling, the way she says it, she thinks she's saying something so important here, life-changing important. It's like, no, you're not. You're not adding anything. Why are you there? It's weird, right? It's weird. Okay. Yeah. So there you go. So Daily Mail was pointing out that Harry just kind of shrinks. Yes, dear. I always ask the same question, and that is, why does he let her do this? Why wouldn't you say, even if you don't, if you're not confrontational on the car ride home, why wouldn't you say, don't do that? But I mean, I guess it's gone this far. He's just does that. I don't know. He just lets her do it. Oh, sickening. That would drive me nuts. I don't know how. I can't. I couldn't do it. So there's that. And then I brought one other story to show you, just because I have been keeping an eye on hold on, that's not it. On the Fergie of it all. Oh, I pulled some comments on this. Let me show you this. Here's some comments from this video. Little Miss Know-It-All, although she doesn't know it all. There you go. Seriously, the tone she takes is unbelievable. It shows no respect for him, No respect for anybody else in that meeting that wanted to hear him talk. I mean, she thinks she's the greatest thing ever. It's unbelievable. Well, he's a dimwit who had to cheat on his A levels and never went to university. So it's hardly the best person to be talking about education in the first place. Here. That is a good point. I don't know that either of them should be. And I definitely don't think either of them should be talking about mental health. Just saying. Harry, get away from that horrible woman before she destroys you. Too late. It's all been a horrible mistake. You can still have a good life on your own terms. Nah, I think that ship has sailed. I would advise him to become a hermit and live in the forest. Best place for him, really, as he can mix with animals more suited to his intellect. Hey, those animals are way smarter than Harry. They're not eating crayons. He is. She has no respect for him. Exactly. No woman would respect a man who allows you to treat him as if he were your trained dog, doing whatever you tell him to do or not to do. Agree. Yeah, she doesn't. I don't get the vibe or the feeling that she respects him a whole lot because I just think I'm taking woman man out of this. I just am. I'm talking about in general. When you're in a partnership, there's a time to lead, there's a time to fall back. And in this case, or a lot of these cases, she should fall back. And she's not, she will never. She just doesn't have the self-awareness. And there's nothing wrong with falling back. And again, I'm not even talking man versus woman. I'm just talking in general in any kind of partnership, even in friendships. If I went with one of my friends to an awards show or something and they're getting an award, guy or girl, I'm not getting up on stage to grab the award from them or to correct them during the speech. I'm just applauding loudly or whatever they need me to do in that moment. It's just what you do when you support somebody and you care about somebody. Meghan, I just don't think she's capable of such a thing. She could never fall back because she seems to see it as a weakness. Whereas I say, look at Catherine, again, I don't get political here, but we just saw Melania. There is something so powerful about these women. They're smart women. They're leaders, but they also know when it's time to fall back. Again, I'm not trying to go man, woman. I'm just saying in general, I think that's part of intelligence, emotional intelligence. And I'm super into charisma. I think part of being charismatic is not having to be the one always speaking. You can be the one listening. You can ask thoughtful questions, whatever, add to the conversation, but you don't have to do this. You don't have to talk over people. That's ridiculous. So anyway, that's going to do it for me. Let me know your thoughts on all of this. I find them ridiculous. Oh, yeah, there was one more story. Hold on. Here it is. Sarah. Oh, goodness. I just knocked that down. Sarah Ferguson will play the victim and has no acceptance of what she's done despite fallout from the email. All right. So I've been covering this Fergie story because I am into it. Let me know if you want me to keep going with it because I'm into it. I think that's interesting. As soon as I read that, I thought, oh, that's Meghan. That's a play out of Meghan's book. And I've had a couple of my behind the scenes team making me aware of things I was not aware of. I have to say allegedly, but one of you guys let me know about her allegedly being millions in debt as opposed to the couple thousand. I mean, still, it was like 15,000, whatever that was reported. And I've heard since then, no, it was millions. And it's happened maybe allegedly on several occasions. She's had to have, again, this is a court, this is a rumor, but supposedly she's had to have several people bail her out. Yikes. I just can't imagine living like that. How does that work? My God. Who could bail me out? That's right. Who has a couple million and wants to help me out? How about that? No, but seriously, absolutely ridiculous. How do you play victim in this scenario? Again, Harry and Meghan would find a way. So we'll see. This should be interesting. But I'm down to keep talking about it if you guys want to hear more about it. But as always, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Let me know your thoughts on all of this. Let me know your thoughts on the men in gray suits, on how ridiculous Harry and Meghan both are, your thoughts on that clip, your thoughts on the word salad. You can write me a word salad comment. I look forward to that. You can go on and on. Let's see what else. I have it still. Like, it's education. I think all of us can stand behind the value and importance of education, especially having access to it. But access to it and what it is can come in different shapes and forms, and you can still show up in the world in such strong, valuable way. Blah, blah, blah. I can't with this. I'm going to lose the will to live. Leave me a word salad comment. I look forward to reading that. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. If you want to further support the show, you know how to do it. I just posted another new video on Goose Adventures. If you're new here and you're like, what's Goose Adventures? Oh, I'll tell you. Goose Adventures is my second channel that I love. It means the world to me. I'm detailing how I lost 140 pounds. I did it drug-free and surgery-free. I'm still mid transformation. I'm showing what I actually just did what I eat in a day. I did how I work out, things like that. Habits that have helped. I have all kinds of videos over there. Very supportive Flock. Go check that out. And that I sincerely appreciate that if you're interested in that. And then you can support me by checking out my merch. What did I just hit? Hold on. Check out the merch. I got Beetlejuice stuff. It's coming back on the Halloween season. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. That's my spooky noise. So, if you want to be a Beetlejuice, I've got that. It's so cute. I've got Team Catherine. I've got everything's fine. All kinds of stuff over there. Check out the merch. And check out my Patreon, patreon.com/Real Housewives Recaps. Yes, it's my old name, but it's got tons of bonus content, like hundreds of videos over there. You might get sick of me, but you'll never be bored. It's all kinds of stuff from extra Harry and Meghan content to non-Harry and Meghan content, depending on what you're looking for. I recap shows over there. We have a bunch of fun. I talk about all kinds of stuff, behind the scenes stuff, whatever you want to talk about. I'll talk about it. So check that out, patreon.com/Real Housewives Recaps. And thank you to my executive geese and ganders. Guys, that's going to do it for me. I can't wait to bring you more stuff like this. Bonjour. Salut. Let me know your thoughts. Say something French to me. I know there's some French geese and ganders in my chat, or in my comments. So bonjour. Let me know your thoughts on all this. I actually have been, I'll save that for a second. Hold on. Okay. If you're new here, usually this is how I end it. And then I talk a little bit more. So, okay, that's going to do it for me. Bye. Okay, here we go. I know, the least smooth person. I've had several people say, we know you stay to the end. I'm like, I know, I want you to stay to the end. It's my favorite part. Okay. I've been watching videos. I watch all kinds of stuff on YouTube, but I've been watching videos on, I'm trying to overhaul everything where I've lost this drastic amount of weight and I just completely look different. I feel different. And I've had to buy new clothes and all this stuff. I've tried to overhaul everything. Not change everything, but just kind of improve what I can. And one of the things I'm improving is style. I've never known what the heck I'm doing with style, but I'm learning. And so I've been watching YouTube videos on French women and how they dress and how they carry themselves. Ha ha ha. I'm into it. You French women are gorgeous. I love it. So I don't even know where I'm going with that. I've just been in a French state of mind lately. Bonjour. I just I want to be more Sophie and less Emily in Paris. So there's that. All right. I'm going to leave this here. Thank you guys so much. Oh, you know what? When I think Paris, you know what I think of? One of my all-time favorite movies. Did you ever see Sabrina? I know it's a remake, but I talk about the one with Juliette Binoche. Juliette Binoche? No. Hold on. What's her name? I can picture her. I'll get her name in a second. What's her name? Hold on. Harrison Ford, Greg Kinnear, and Julia Ormond. That's her name. Oh, I love her. Is Sabrina. Remember, she goes to Paris to find herself. That's a great movie. I love that movie. I'm going to go watch that again. Okay. I'm going to leave this here. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you stayed tuned this long, say something to me in French and let me know if you saw the movie Sabrina, the original or the remake. Either one is good. My favorite line of that movie, there's so many, but do you remember it's Linus and I can't remember the other brother's name. The Great Kinnear had, I don't want to ruin it in case you haven't seen it, but had to have painkillers. And she's like, "Oh, is he asking for me?" And and they said, "No, he's been asking for Bert and Ernie." I don't know why that just makes me laugh. So Bert and Ernie. Okay, I'm gonna leave this here. Bonjour. Thank you so much. Merci. S'il vous plaît. All right. Have the best day. I'll talk to you guys again soon. Bye-bye. Bonjour. Comment allez-vous?